Hi everyone, I'm Joyjit Kulja. I'm here to design and perform finite element analysis for a range. We first select a plane view. In this case, I'll be selecting a top plane. First, we prepare our sketch. For that, which we require two circles of any measurement. We now proceed to select a center line, so making sure that both the center of the circles lie on the same axis. Now we make sure that they are apart in a specified distance. In this case, I'll choose around 110 mm. Now we'll proceed to the circles. In this case, let's say the circle is of 30 mm. That's about 40. That should do. Now for the smaller one, make it around 30. Yeah. Now that we are done with the circles and the axes of the center of both the circles, we now draw the outer part or the handle part of the wrench. Let's just mirror the entity. Just make it around 14 mm. Now we proceed with the important part of the figure. Once done with the 3-point section, we choose the tool function. Oh, I'm sorry, the line function. Now we choose a center line. The center line is selected so that we could define both the lines and the 3-point arc within defined units so that the sketch won't be messed up. Let's say the distance between both the centers be 4 units, 4.5 units. This is 8 units. It's not bad. That, that seems to be fine. The radius be around 12. Seventeen for the difference between both the lines. Now that we are done with the larger part, we proceed with the smaller one. Now that we are done with both the larger and the smaller parts of the wrench, we complete with we complete the smaller part too with dimensions. Say it's 9 degrees. This will go about 9 degrees. This to be around 15. It's around 4. Now we could see that we are done with the outlines, almost done with the outlines, but not fully. So to make it look just like a wrench, we need around 4 tangent lines, which could be drawn with the help of sketch, fillet. Um, we now proceed to make we now proceed to trim some entities so that we could proceed with uh, now we proceed with now that we are almost done with the outer structure, we still have some of the parts left, like this, 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 and this. So those must and so those areas would make look the diagram just like a real wrench. So for that, we first of all trim the unwanted entities out of our drawing. Once done, we now proceed to make some fillets. Let's say it's of 15 mm. Done. And the larger ones would have a fillet of around 25 mm. Now you could see that we have almost prepared a wrench, but in order to extrude it in a finite, in a definite way, we need to separate 3 of the parts. For that, first of all, let's center point out. Once merged, we're done with the layout of the wrench. Now we proceed to extrude the whole part. Let's say it's of 5 mm. Same for the middle part as well, but the dimension should be now we proceed with the middle part, but the dimension should change. Let's say it's of 4 mm. Done. Now, in order to make it look a bit more smoother, let's proceed with the fillet part. Now we save the file. Let's name it as part 7. We'll save it as AP214 so that we could proceed with the finite element analysis on ANSYS. Since it is a static structure, we proceed with the static structural component from the toolbox and not the general fluid flow or any other component. Now import the geometry from our computer. So let's proceed to the modeling. So now you could see that our whole component is present on the ANSYS software so that we could proceed with the elemental analysis. We first of all generate mesh, and to generate mesh of each component, elemental component in the whole body, we select the whole first, then we generate mesh. Let's see that we are done generating mesh. Now we define our static structural properties which we require. First of all, we will require a force to be applied on one of the sides, which we will decide later on. For now, let's select another component which would be a fixed support. Fixed support will represent the side which we will configure as a fixed part of the whole body, which won't have any forces applied to it, but it will act as a rigid point through which the whole body will be analyzed part by part. Now let's define the forces. We want the forces to be defined in components. Let's say the force is applied here. Let's Z component around 100 Newton. Then we now fix the supports. Apply. Now we insert our different properties that we require. That is total deformation, um, stress and strain equivalent strain throughout the whole elastic strain throughout the whole body, and stress, shear stress. Now we solve the component. Once the mathematical structure of the component is done, we now proceed with the animation, which will determine the stress, strain analysis, and deformation analysis on the whole body. Now we are done with the analysis, finite elemental analysis of the whole range and the designing of the